What's going on YouTube? Back with another video. We're watching this Unbreakable ice cream safe. How to make cool stuff. I made a class. How do you make a class? What do you mean? Like a classroom? I don't understand. So that's why I clicked on this video, because I didn't understand what he was talking about. So we're gonna learn together. Let's get to it.
In exactly 1 week, I'll be releasing the Glitter Bomb 3.0 video. It's got a bunch of new features, and it turns out even in 2020, there were no shortage of package thieves that involuntarily volunteered to test all those new features out for us.
Look at that, is it glitter?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
10, 9,
She's so excited.
7, 6, 5, 4.
So excited.
But this
So
video
excited.
isn't that. I'm making this video to tell
Ten
you
hard
about
fans
something
out
I've
there.
poured my guts into for almost a year, and it's like the biggest thing I've ever announced on my channel. But first, I have a confession, and that's I love ice cream. It's just objectively the best food that there is. But there's two problems with that. Number one, I have no impulse control to keep me from eating this entire tub in a single day. And number two, other people in my house
That's not a lot,
also
though.
love it. So we are competing over a scarce resource. So I came up with an invention to protect the ice cream from my poor impulse control and other people in my house at the exact same time. And here it is. Do you see it? Of course you don't, because that's the first line of defense in action. It's camouflaged in this bag of frozen vegetables. But even if someone in my house were to
I'm
accidentally
dead.
stumble upon this
Sounds
bag
like
of
some
vegetables,
mom do.
this is what they'd find. It's impossible for even the world's strongest person to remove this lid, because it's clamped on with a 1/4 ton of force, and yet there are no buttons, latches, or locks. And it works because the lid and the base are made from different metals. So you place the carton right in the base, and then the lid just
So how do you
snugly
get in there?
slides on at room temperature. But when I put it in the freezer, the anodized aluminum lid shrinks 50% more than the stainless steel base does, essentially fusing them together. The trick then is to just run room temperature water over the lid, because when you increase their temperatures, aluminum also grows 50% more than steel. And this solves my impulse control issues, because it makes me wait at least 30 seconds to think if I should really eat this ice cream. And in this case,
If you that far, you're gonna eat it.
I definitely should.
What?
This idea just occurred to me
You
one
that
day,
far,
so
you're gonna eat
I
it no
made
matter what.
And that's the thing I love about being an engineer. If you have an idea about a thing and that thing doesn't exist, you can just will it into existence. So here's my big announcement. I have been secretly working for nearly a year to create a month-long course that will teach you to use engineering and science to bring your own creative ideas to life. We structure this course in such a way that it covers my entire creative design process while still being easy to follow and digestible. And this really is my entire process. You'll follow along with me as I create 3 different brand new
so he
builds,
has a
starting all the way from
class.
just
Okay.
coming up with the idea in the
I
first
get what he's
place.
talking
So for
about.
example, for one of the 3 projects in the class,
made
the
the
design
class.
challenge is just some kind of build
Why didn't you
that
say
has to
enroll
do
in
with
my
habits.
class?
So it either
That
helps
would've
enforce
made
a
more
good
sense to
habit
me.
or breaks a bad one. And as you'll see in the class, as I was stepping through the brainstorming portion of the engineering design process, it occurred to me, what if I could build something that could do both at the same time? Before this, I never actually known how to solve a Rubik's Cube, so this seemed like a worthy good habit. So every time I do it, I can just set it in this really cool retro blender I found on eBay that's also just camouflaged in my kitchen, and then it will check to see if I solved it correctly when I turn it on. And if I did,
What?
then the back pops open and I get rewarded with my favorite candy, which if it weren't
Does
locked
it
away,
does
I
it
would eat every
do it
time I came
again?
through the kitchen, because
does it like
again,
mess it up again?
no impulse control. And normally on my channel, whether it's an automatic bullseye dartboard, or the world's largest Nerf gun, or Super Soaker, or a Ninja Warrior
Do some
obstacle
cool
course for
stuff.
squirrels, it's just me presenting the final thing, and then you get to see it in action. But for this class, I pull back the curtain, and you get to see the creation process unfold in real time. You get to see all those aha moments, the hundreds of little decisions that lead to the final build, as I talk you through my thought process and the techniques and tools that I'm using as I use them. But by far the coolest part is you get to practice this process yourself, and that's where the true learning occurs. Together, we'll follow the engineering design process side by side. No matter what your starting skill level is, the course is designed so that by the end of the month, you will leave the class with 3 original creative builds of your own that you can proudly show off to the world. And other students will be in the class with you, so you can learn together and get feedback, and I'll be in there sometimes too, leaving comments and video responses on people's work. And so just to give you a little flavor of the class, here's like a 60-second sneak peek. You guys ready? The first build is mechanical. Here are my 5 requirements now. We want to make sure we have
I like how
a bunch of
this
different
transitions
starting
from
points.
ice
What's the
cream all the way
right
to his
artwork
class.
that they should have.
I guess like 2 videos into itself.
PVC pipe here. I don't even know what this is for in real life, but it's small, it's cheap. My work is I'll just raise the back of the catapult up, and that will give me a different launch angle. 3, 2, 1, launch. And then this comes all the way back, and then boop, and it comes down. This makes sense in 2D. Now I've got to take this 2D and like map it to the 3D here. It's a shear load, it's not like a tension load. So that may be enough. You get a force going back that way, goes through the eyelet, and then comes back to me. Captures it, fires, lovely. It impacts on this shoulder right here. It's a dice roll at every gate, basically. So the fewer gates you have, the less complex the system is. The fewer moving parts, always the more reliable it's going to be. Oh, baby! Got it! It's basically like us hanging out together as I walk you through my entire process. In fact, if you combine all the videos in the course, it's longer than the combined time of all the videos I've uploaded to YouTube in my 10 years on the platform. And the goal of the class is not just to expose you to all the tools and techniques that I use, but to teach you to think like an engineer. But like in the good way, not in the way that makes my wife frustrated when we have to talk about feelings. And the process I'll be teaching you is the same process I used at Apple as a product designer. It's the same process I used at NASA to help build the Curiosity rover, and it's the same exact process I use every month on all my YouTube videos. We'll cover mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, 3D printing, prototyping, CAD, Arduino and Raspberry Pi, the scientific method, and so much more, including how to tell a great story around your build and give it character so people will naturally want to share it. And if you hear all that and you're like, psh, that's way over my head, don't worry, because hopefully you trust me enough by now to know that I love to try and take these really complex things and break them down to their most basic elements so that they make sense even for someone just starting out. Now, to be clear, if this is your first time dipping your toes in the water, I'm definitely not promising that by the end of the month you'll be making like fully functioning glitter bombs. But you will have a fundamental understanding of how a mechanical and electrical build like this works, and exposure to all of the steps and processes by which something like this is made. Like, there's no element of this glitter bomb that we don't at least somehow touch on in the class. We really tried to design the course so that anyone could create at the edge of their abilities, whatever they currently are. Now, if you're an adult or a professional engineer, I'm confident you will get a lot out of this class. But on the other end of the spectrum, a question I've already been asked is what's sort of the right minimum age level where it won't feel overwhelming? And I'd say for sure anyone like high school or above will be fine. Having said that, I've met some pretty precocious 8-year-olds that are already into building and electronics, and I think they'd be fine too. Otherwise, this is a great month-long activity for maybe a parent and their kid, or even a whole family to tackle together. At the end of the day,
class
if
is
you're not
only
quite
1
sure,
month?
you could just sign up to test it out and then get a full refund up until day
I feel like
5
a
of
1
class.
month
The
is not
company I
enough
partnered with is called
to
Monthly, and they're great. They specialize
do
in
a
these
class.
month-long
Like,
accelerated
you
learning
need more
courses,
than that.
and their
Probably
user
like
satisfaction
years
ratings
experience to
are
do
super
stuff what
high
we do.
across the board. So you can feel confident this would make a great holiday gift, or just a fantastic way to start the new year by making a resolution to learn some new skills that will serve you for the rest of your creative life. So if you're looking for a new hands-on way to bring your creative ideas to life, or if you've always been interested in science and engineering and want to further invest in this interest, or if you're just a more experienced engineer looking for a fresh way to do things, then this class is for you. Just go to monthly.com/MarkRober or use the link in the video description to check it out and then enroll in this month-long learning experience with me. I know what's in the class, and I promise you won't regret it.
Alright, that's the end of the video. How about that class? Y'all think about joining that class? Me, I'm not really a builder. I just call somebody, like, hey, come fix this. That's just me. I wouldn't do that, but I recommend checking out his class if you're into that stuff. Seems like he knows what he's doing. He built some crazy stuff. Like, I remember watching the squirrel video that he has up, the obstacle. That was pretty entertaining, even though it was pretty lengthy, but that was a pretty entertaining video. As far as this video, it's at the end. Probably gonna make some more videos because I like doing this stuff. But comment, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.